Hello and welcome to another bikepacking Q&A video. In this video, I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about the Caledonian Sleeper train. Now obviously this channel is all about cycling and bikepacking, so I am going to cover how to get your bike booked on and all of the details about that. But don't worry if you're not interested in bikes, because I am going to cover everything you need to know, from the accommodation to the booking process, the destinations, all of that, so that you're well informed and you can head up to Scotland on your next adventure. I've had loads of questions about the Caledonian Sleeper. It's obviously very popular. I even had 2 separate questions about it from 2 separate people in the same day the other week, so I decided I'm going to do a video on it to help you out. Just a reminder before I dive into the video, if you want to get your question answered, remember you can either drop me a voicemail on my website, send me a message on Instagram, or leave a comment on this video, and I may do it in an upcoming Q&A video. So why use the Sleeper train? It's a fast and efficient way of getting to the Highlands. It's way less stressful than driving the whole way. If you're cycling, you can take your bike on and be on your way straight away at your destination without needing to park anywhere. And it adds an element of adventure to the experience as well. So firstly, where does it go from and to? London Euston is the main starting point where all the trains begin. You can pick it up at places like Crewe and Preston as well before heading into Scotland. The train goes to some amazing locations like the Cairngorms and Loch Ness, as well as the east coast of Scotland. It's a really great way of seeing some of the amazing beauty that Scotland has. You'd be amazed at how many small stations it actually stops at. Check the website for all of the train stations, but it gives you some incredible options if you're planning an amazing cycling route. There are 4 different types of accommodation you can get on the train. The first is seats. They're the cheapest obviously, and then it moves to rooms. So there's the classic room, which is basically a bunk bed room with no toilet, just a sink, and then it gets slightly better from there. There's the club rooms, which have an ensuite, and then there's the double room, and there's only a couple of those on the entire train. They take up about half a carriage. They are quite luxurious, but they are mega expensive. I would strongly recommend not going for the seat. I've done it a few times, and every time I've done it, I regretted it. It is the cheapest, so it does make sense in your head when you're booking it not to spend a fortune, but they're really uncomfortable. They do recline ever so slightly, but it's really not a pleasant experience. Definitely go for a room if you can stretch to it. All the rooms come with at least a free drink for your breakfast. Some of the more expensive rooms like the double have breakfast included, but there is a dining car that's separate to that where you can go and sit and buy drinks and food regardless of the accommodation you're in. Definitely use the Sleeper.scot website when you're booking. The reason for that is twofold. Number one, that's how you book your bike on and you can see the spaces and whether or not there are any. But secondly, you get automatic delay repay. So if you, for whatever reason, have a significant delay, you get a lot of your money back. This is especially important if you're planning on going up in winter, because the chances are, 9 times out of 10 when I've gone in the winter, there have been significant delays because of how harsh the terrain is and the conditions up there, and it's such a long journey. The chances are something is going to get in the way of that journey, and as a result I've found that I've paid for a room and ended up getting all my money back on a couple of occasions. So what's the bike storage like? There is a hanging storage rack that takes several bikes, and you can book them on directly on the website when you're buying your ticket. They say the size of the bike's tyres is limited to 2.5 inches, which is pretty chunky because of the hooks that you need to hook them on. But I've been on with a 2.8 inch tyre a couple of times, and with a bit of negotiating I managed to get it on the hook, and it hasn't been an issue at all. So that does mean if you're planning on taking a fat bike, you are really going to struggle. You might have to deflate your tyres to actually get it onto the hook. Now, to be honest, nobody's really checked any time I brought my bike on as to whether or not it's suitable. They just sort of let me on and let me deal with it myself. So if you want to risk it, you certainly can. But 2.8 inches I think is the absolute max that you can comfortably get away with on the hooks. The bike storage actually has a door that you can pull down, and then it can be locked by the conductor for security. Something I get asked all the time is, how safe is it? To be honest, it's very safe because hardly anybody gets on or off the train until the final destination, and because it's a night train, it's pretty obvious when anyone's getting on and off, and there's a conductor that's walking up and down all night. But you can have it locked as well, so you've got that peace of mind. It does occasionally say, if you're booking very close to the day of travel and trying to get your bike on, that you need to bag the bike up. basically they're saying that there's not enough bike racks for you to put your bike on. If you're going to do that, you're going to need some form of canvas bag to go around the bike. You may have to take the wheels off or the handlebars off so that you can put it in the luggage rack. This is quite rare, and as long as you book far enough in advance, it's very unlikely that this is going to happen to you. And finally, if you are traveling to Fort William, I did say at the beginning of the video that the train splits. Now, if you're just traveling as a passenger, that makes absolutely no difference to you. You can stay asleep and arrive at your destination none the wiser. But if you are taking a bike on the train, the bike section is in the middle of the train. And because the train splits into 3 separate parts and kind of joins on to other carriages in Edinburgh, you do need to wake up in the very wee hours of the morning to move your bike. Otherwise, you're going to arrive at Fort William and be very disappointed that you can't do your bike packing trip. I hope you found that video helpful. If you did, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And if you have any questions, stick them in the comments box. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.